Welcome to the Ashland County Sheriff's Office. This is a tremendous turnout, and you never know how the weather is and what people's schedules are like and how the turnout will be, but I think, Sheriff, that you are well loved, obviously, if you see the turnout here. So, Jenny Whitmore, we're going to have her come up and do the benediction, and we'll get started.
Will you pray with me, please? Gracious God, we gather here today to celebrate the remarkable career and retirement of a true servant leader, our County Sheriff, Wayne Risner. We give thanks for his years of dedication, courage, and unwavering commitment to justice and to the safety and well-being of our community. Throughout his years of service, Sheriff Risner has exemplified courage, integrity, and compassion, and his tireless efforts have made our county a safer place to live, and his legacy of service will continue to inspire future generations. Lord, as Sheriff Risner transitions into retirement, we ask for your blessings upon him and Pam and their family, that you would grant them peace and joy and rest and fulfillment as their next life chapter unfolds. We also pray for continued strength and wisdom for those who will carry forward the mantle of leadership in our law enforcement community. Grant them wisdom in their decisions, patience in their challenges, and unwavering resolve in their duty to uphold justice and fairness. Surround them with your divine protection as they face the dangers and uncertainties of their calling. Thank you, Lord, for the gift of Sheriff Risner's service and for bringing us here together on this beautiful, snowy, windy day to celebrate this incredible milestone. May this time be filled with warm appreciation, funny stories, and treasured memories that honor his remarkable journey. We ask a blessing on the food and those who provided it, as well as travel mercies when we leave. Remind us all of our shared responsibility to seek justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with you. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Well, thank you, Jenny. Well, greetings and welcome to the Ashland County Sheriff's Office. I thank you for attending our public celebration of Sheriff Risner's retirement. Some housekeeping comments. Some of you have not been here. If you go out this hallway down to the next hallway to the right, then on the left is the bathrooms. So if any of you need to step out, feel free to do so. I also want to thank Detective Aaron Kreitz for preparing the pork and having it ready for us for service today. I also like to thank Alan Gribben and the administrative staff for really putting most of this together. You know, I had the thoughts and some other had the thoughts, but she's that one that actually puts it together and makes this thing work. So thank you for all your help. So, several of staff members here prepared soups, as most of you have been enjoying, and we've had the drinks donated to us by a local vendor. So please help yourself and enjoy. There's plenty. So, also in the back corner there where you see the gold happy retirement, there's some whiteboards back there that we have made, and we wish that you would go back there with markers. There's markers there, and write some words for the sheriff and his retirement. So if you would do that, I appreciate that. I want to thank all those who are attending, the family, the friends, current and former employees, elected officials, and the special people in the sheriff's life that have helped mentor, assist, and maintain a friendship with him. And some of them want to make comments here later on. Sheriff Risner retired from the U.S. Army in 1990 as a master sergeant. Pam and he moved here to Ashland County after that. He had joined the Ashland County Sheriff's Office and worked 8 years as a correction officer, a corrections supervisor, and a patrol deputy. He was then promoted to the first Ashland County 911 coordinator's position, and he was also on the committee to design and the construction of this building. This building right now is 24 years old, and he was part of the construction of this. And then he was promoted to chief deputy until his term as sheriff. He was elected sheriff, and his term began in January of 2001. And that's the same year that we moved into this building. In his 24-year tenure as sheriff, he ran unopposed each term. Sheriff Risner also served as the president of Buckeye State Sheriff's Association in the year 2013. Sheriff Risner's experienced a lot of growth in this agency. This entire agency has made major accomplishments under his leadership. He's never micromanaged his people. He's always expected the best out of them, and that you work hard for the citizens of Ashland County. Sheriff, I want to thank you for allowing me to be your chief deputy for the past 4 years. Even when I was a jail captain, the leadership and the friendship that you gave me made me a better supervisor. We worked together, we made a lot of positive changes, not just in our staff and our equipment and the tools that the employees needed, but just your support in this agency has been very notable. I know retirement is going to be an adjustment for you. We have talked about it in the past few months, and I've talked to you and mentioned to you and Pam need to have a plan. You need to grab her, your puppy Libby, get in the RV and go for a ride. Enjoy the countryside, go see your family. I hear that both of you are working on that plan. I'm glad to hear that. So, Bill, if you want to post that picture for me. This is something I read during the summer, and it carries with me a lot. And it's from the late Kobe Bryant, that is a retired basketball player. The biggest mistake we make in life is thinking that we have the time. I want you to take this time and enjoy what you have and make the best of it. It's a new chapter in your life. Turn the page and write a new chapter for us. You're not far away, you're only a phone call away. I know Sheriff Schneider values your leadership and guidance, and it wouldn't be right if we didn't see you walking in these hallways. Now, if you come in with a cigar and some newspaper, we're going to have you evaluated in the back. If we had a past sheriff would come in every day and get coffee and smoking a cigar and dropping off the newspapers. So this is not a goodbye, but this is a next chapter for you. So I appreciate the guidance you've given me. So thank you. To move on, we have some guests here that want to come up and say a few words, and I have a list of them here. I was going to start recognizing everybody here at the Briar, but I'd probably be here half hour trying to have everybody stand up. And so the first one, we're going to start off with the Ohio Senator Romachuk. He is a representative of the people for the 22nd District, which includes Ashland, Medina, and Richland County. Senator Romachuk.
Thank you, and good afternoon. Happy New Year. Apparently my New Year calendar isn't quite working right, because I was here yesterday at around 11:30 a.m. and had the wrong day on the calendar. What I can tell you is what you see here today was already here yesterday. It was squared away. And if there's one thing you can say about the sheriff, is he is squared away, right? Reminds me of the time I was invited to come over and do a tour of the jail, and boy, were things squared away that day. And I think the sheriff mentioned more than once that he had received a 100% rating from the state. So, judged based on what I saw, I think I believe that. So as I drove over here this morning, I was thinking about what words to describe the sheriff, and of course, the words such as lawman, retired, military veteran, family man, friend of all certainly fits. But my mind kept coming back to something that has to do with the greatest generation. And even though he's too young to be part of that group, I think you're about a generation or so away, he certainly reminds me of that group of people that saved our country and kept us safe and has bestowed the freedoms that we enjoy today. So even though he's too young, I really think he should have been part of that generation. So I'm very happy to be here. I wish him well in retirement. I don't know if he's still here. Sheriff, come on up here. I got something for you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your safety that you've given this community and our country. And we wish you all the best in retirement. Congratulations.
He's quite a guy, and I've met with him a few times and some lunches and stuff that we've had, and we came up with a big deal on one of them, didn't we? So we've done all right. It's in the works right now, and Melanie's been involved with that process and spearheaded a little bit of getting that grant from the House for a project down in our county. So at the end of the day, I think we'll be very proud of what we accomplished over lunch. That's kind of the deal. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Next is the Ohio House of Representative Melody Miller. She represents the district of the 67th District. Thank you. Melody?
Good afternoon, everyone. All right. Well, I had an opportunity to talk with some of the staff in the back of the room, and I think everyone is feeling a little bittersweet today. It's a new chapter, but it's going to be very different not having a wonderful sheriff like Sheriff Risner in this role. And I'll be honest, Sheriff, I don't have any funny stories to share about you, that many will save that for some other people. But as I was thinking about today, what I might share about you, I think of you as family. And I think a lot of people in this room could say the same. You're a very kind man. You have a big heart, and you love people, and you love the people that God has entrusted under your leadership. When I think of Sheriff Risner, I could not think of Pastor Jenny Whitmore, the prayer that she shared. Every single detail that she shared about this man, his courage, his loyalty, his integrity, his duty to his country as a military veteran, and then to serve in law enforcement. You have had quite a distinguished career. And I know over the years, you've always said to me, I'm like one of your daughters. And I really take that to heart, because I know at any time I could call Sheriff and he would take care of something, or I know he would have my back, and I know that he would do that for anyone who called him for help or needed a question about anything. He would do that. We have been very blessed in Ashland County to have you serving as our longest serving sheriff. Ashland County is a blessed county because of your leadership and your team of folks. I don't have a lot more I want to share because I am going to get too emotional here. But Sheriff, we're very proud of you. And this is not goodbye, but this is an opportunity for all of us to honor you and the impact that you've made, and to say to you today, well done, thy good and faithful servant. We love you very much. And on behalf of the Ohio House of Representatives, it is my great honor, and I've had this in my office for many, many months because I wanted to make sure it was ready. To honor you in your distinguished service. We love you.
Thank you very much, Melanie. She's a very special lady in our community, and she has been for a lot of years. She's been involved in a lot of things, kind of behind the scenes. It's in the public, but it's kind of behind the scenes for families and babies, and she's been a blessing on that. And when she ran for to be a state rep, we worked with her to help her get that, and boy, has that paid off. I mean, for us in the 67th district, it's really paid off the dividends for us to have her down there. She's really made a name for herself in a short period of time. So we should be very proud of her, and we look for bigger and better grants to come in the future too.
Thank you, Melanie. Next guy is Matt Miller. And if you don't know who this guy is, you've been living under a rock, especially if you live in Ashland County.
Well, I will tell you, the truth is I have absolutely been dreading this moment. And not just because we're saying goodbye to a wonderful sheriff in this role, but the truth is, what can I possibly say to summarize his career and service to the people here of our community. Now, you may not realize it, but I was thinking today, Sheriff, I was probably 19 when I first encountered you, and it was when I was sitting in on the county commissioner meetings every Monday and Thursday. And the role that you were in at that time was accompanying Overholt to give updates, routine updates on the 911 system. You and Marilyn working so hard to make sure that we had the 911 system here in the community. You fast forward, and then when I ran, I remember one of my first interactions with you was contract negotiations. Now, those of you who don't follow the news headlines, you will know that the way county government is set up, it's almost as though the county commissioners and the sheriffs always end up at odds with one another. Because he's going to be telling us, and Kurt's going to be telling the commissioners all the resources he needs to keep the people safe, and the commissioner's job is to make sure that he only gets just enough to do what has to be done and no extra. And during those contract negotiations, remember, things got pretty heated. Some of you probably remember Marianne Koback. Marianne Koback was an aggressive little reporter for the Times-Gazette, and she, like many in the media today, were always looking for a story. And I can distinctly remember her sitting with me and sitting with Marilyn one day in the commissioner's office, right in the middle of our negotiations, and her turning to me and saying, "Come on, you've got to say something bad about the sheriff. You've got to say something bad about the sheriff. You know you want to." Look, there's Jim Budzik. He was our attorney at the time. So he was right there in those discussions. And I will tell you what, we refused to do so. We refused to say anything negative about our sheriff. Because even though we might be struggling to come to an agreement on the dollars and cents sides of things, we knew that he was a man that was absolutely loyal to the safety and to the residents of this county. And it's already been spoken. I know, Senator, you said that you were trying to think of the word. To me, the word that just keeps echoing through my head is loyalty. Can you think of anyone who is more loyal? Maybe loyal to you, or loyal to this country, or the people of this county. Knowing him and all the roles and relationships that we've had, I would say the one that probably is the most meaningful is the fact that you are the most loyal friend anyone could possibly desire to have. He will be there for you, he will stand up for you, he will provide for you, and he will speak for you if you are his friend. And quite honestly, even in the discussions where maybe we've had some fractured relationships with some people, he still would demonstrate a care and concern for them in those discussions. Sheriff, you are the man. And you realize when you've served in this role for 24 years, for a lot of people in this county, you are the only sheriff they've ever known in their lifetime. I was talking to the staff in the office. They said it's kind of like, Sheriff Risner, he's always the sheriff. You're the man, and you set the tenor for now the show that's going to take place. And I know it's nice to know that Kurt has spent quality time with you so that he has seen how things can be done right. And now he can build on it to make it his own department in a special place. So God bless you, Sheriff Risner. We'll all be thinking of you. We'll all be loving you, and we'll all be watching for you in that camper as you drive by. All right? Have you noticed something too? Humility. You realize we're supposed to be up here telling you how wonderful he is, but have you noticed something? Everyone that speaks, he gets up and tells us how wonderful they are. So God bless you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Matt. It's been great to watch Matt grow. When I first met Matt, he was 19 years old, and he was just kind of getting into this, but he had the drive. And you talk about 24 years. Sheriff Schneider here, he came in with me. He's been a sheriff for 24 years up in Lorraine County. And we have shirts older than a lot of people in this room. So we've been around it just a little while. But it's been amazing to watch Matt grow in our county here. He was a county commissioner for 2 terms. And we battled a little bit on our contracts and that with the commissioners. And but at the end of the day, it seemed like it always settled down. It kind of worked out, We gave a little bit, and you guys give, and my good friend and my labor attorney, Jim Budzik over here, we usually were able to work everything out, and at the end of the day, we walked away with no hard feelings and deep friendships and respect. So, Matt, you're a dear guy to my heart, and I'll always be around if you need anything from me. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Matt. Rocky Nelson. Yeah, he told me he was coming, but I had not seen him. Okay. Rachel Delaney. She is a representative of the Ohio Attorney General's office. She is the regional director for us to the Attorney General. Rachel.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm here to present a proclamation on behalf of our Ohio Attorney General, Dave Yost. And before I begin, very quickly, I would just like to personally thank the sheriff. I began in my role about 7 months ago, and he has been nothing but kind, responsive, and has made Ashland feel like a home for me here. He advocates for the people of Ashland, and I just personally want to thank you for being so kind to me. From the Office of the Ohio Attorney General, a proclamation recognizing the retirement of the Ashland County Sheriff, Wayne Risner. Whereas law enforcement is fundamental to preserving the quality of life, security, and prosperity of our communities, and those who serve that mission deserve unwavering support, deep respect, and unending gratitude. And whereas Sheriff Wayne Risner served in the United States Army for 22 years before beginning his law enforcement career with the Ashland County Sheriff's Office in 1990 as a corrections officer, then patrol officer, 911 coordinator, new jail project coordinator, director of communications, and chief deputy before being elected sheriff in November of 2000. And whereas early in his career, Sheriff Risner led the effort to establish and improve 911 services in Ashland County, and during his tenure as sheriff, maintained the Ashland County Jail to the highest standards, earning consistent praise from grand jury inspections for cleanliness and smooth operations. And whereas Sheriff Risner has served 24 years as Ashland County's sheriff, becoming the longest serving sheriff in Ashland County's history. Therefore, as Attorney General of the state of Ohio, it is my honor to recognize and congratulate Sheriff Wayne Risner on his outstanding career in law enforcement and his retirement from the Ashland County Sheriff's Office. Dave Yost, Ohio Attorney General.
Rachel's a pretty special young lady. When she first came in, I first met her, I thought when I first met her, I thought, my Lord, they're getting them out of high school now. But I tell you, she's a ball of fire, and she sends emails a lot. She stays on top of a lot of things. She represents the Attorney General very well. And I will add that the Attorney General, Dave Yost, has been a very good friend of mine. He's been a good friend of the law enforcement community throughout the state of Ohio. He's a strong supporter of the Ohio Sheriff's Association, and I'm sure that the Chiefs Association in the state. He's a good friend. He's been here when we've needed him. He's been here when we've requested him to come here to participate in some of our services for our fallen officers and that. He is truly a good man, and she does a tremendous job representing him. And thank you so much.
Good friend of ours, Sheriff's Committee. Come on up, Sheriff.
You know, I hate to say it, but I've been in law enforcement 51 years, and believe it or not, I had hair back then, and I didn't need glasses back then either, but I do now.
He's never had any hair since.
I first want to thank Chief Deputy David Blake for inviting me to my friend's retirement, his celebration, to say a couple words. And I did drive up on a blizzard just for this man, too, out of Lorain County. I'll try to keep this brief, but whenever you give a sheriff a microphone, you have to be careful. I first met Sheriff Risner in December of 2000, when 24 new sheriffs were attending the new sheriff school in Columbus, Ohio. The more I got to know him, the more we became good friends. As we bonded with other sheriffs, our executive director of the Buckeye State Sheriff's Association, Robert Cornwell, He reminded all the new sheriffs that we are not Democrats, we are not Republicans, we are not independents, that we are all sheriffs. And we need to work together in times of need to all our citizens that we protect. And that has happened throughout the years. Sheriff Risner always kidded me and always stated that I was his favorite Democratic sheriff. And I reminded him that he was my favorite Republican sheriff. In our first year as new sheriffs is when tragedy hit our country, 9/11/2001. When terrorists attacked the United States by crashing 2 jetliners into the World Trade Centers, one into the Pentagon and then another one in Pennsylvania that was diverted away from the White House possibly. And obviously they knew they were going to perish in that plane when that happened. Sheriff Risner and I also signed up to attend the National Sheriff's Institute in Longmont, Colorado in October of 2001. We knew that we could not leave our counties after 9/11 happening so soon, so we deterred to go in April of 2002 because you can only go in your first term. We attended the 82nd class in Longmont, Colorado for 2 weeks, and we became very close friends along with 29 other sheriffs throughout the United States. Our class motto was committed to doing the right thing. I believe after 24 years we stayed true to that motto in our counties. And I do remember there was 2 sheriffs from Texas, and he'll remember this too. They had the cowboy boots and the big cowboy hats, and we started talking about unions. And I remember they stood up and they go, "Unions, what are those?" We also became closer as we went through the chairs to eventually become the president of the Buckeye State Sheriff's Association, which we both served in that capacity. We also served many years on the board of district directors, and being on the board of the BSSA is a very honorable and proud accomplishment and tradition. The nice thing about this is that Sheriff Risner's wife Pam and my wife Mary Jo, who came with me today, became very good friends as they attended all the BSSA functions and the annual conferences. I could go on more about my friend's distinguished career in the U.S. Army, serving 2 combat tours of duty in Vietnam and retiring as a master sergeant. He is not only a great sheriff, having served the citizens of Ashland County for 24 years as sheriff, but an even better in person and friend to me. Congratulations to my friend on such a great career, and good luck with your well-deserved retirement, my friend.
You know, I don't say a lot about political things. That's not something that we really discuss in this business with the association, the sheriffs and that. But I've never been embarrassed to say that Phil was my favorite Democratic sheriff. and we really know what you are, but don't we? So, yeah. Phil's been a great friend. He's done a lot for his community, but he's also done a lot with the Sheriff's Association. We both did go through the chairs, which is about a 6 or 7 year process to do that. We were both district directors before that. If I could get $1 for every time I've gone to Columbus and come back over the last 24 years, I'd probably take a nice vacation someplace and do something. But it was worth every minute. It was worth every drive because the knowledge that we got that we could bring back to our community, to our counties, and share with the other law enforcement organizations, the departments and that in the community. It brought a lot back to us here, and it helped bind us together and make us a little bit stronger. I'd like to take a minute to just ask everybody to remember our executive director, Bob Cornwell. He's having surgery on Monday for an issue that he's got, but I'm sure that he'll get through it, but it was an unexpected thing, so we just keep Bob in your prayers as we go on. And Dave, you ready?
Pete Elliott, U.S. Marshals. Pete Elliott.
All right, I just drove from Cleveland. That was the longest drive of my entire life. Is this Florida? Because there is like no snow. That was, Mayor, what's happening? So honored to be here, Sheriff. Chief Fitzgibbons is over there. He brought his 2 children. So, I want to make sure that I made it here today to honor you, man. What an honorable man you are. What a great sheriff you are and have been, and what a great partner you have been for us over the years in the U.S. Marshal Service. So I just want to thank you, Sheriff. My man. Some of our biggest cases have been right out here. Is this where we had the Nate Summerfield press conference? Everybody remember that? So what a great case that our sheriff led, and that individual murdered his girlfriend, right? In North Carolina, and the sheriff led that pursuit, and we were lucky enough to partner with him and capture that suspect. So, Sheriff, I've only given out, I think, 12 of these in my 22 years as a U.S. Marshal. It is our gold badge, but I want to make sure you got our gold badge because that's what you mean to us. Thank you. Sure this isn't Florida? Because it's pretty warm here. Thank you, Sheriff.
Well, just a comment about Marshal Elliott. He just mentioned that he's been the U.S. Marshal for the Northern District of Ohio for 22 years. That hasn't happened anywhere in this country with another Marshal, I don't think. I think he's the longest term U.S. Marshal in the country. You know, it's kind of a political thing of that, but you know, when you're that good, you stay there. And he's been there a long time, and he'll probably be there as long as he wants to, because he is a quality guy, and he runs a great organization. We work with Risner County, with the Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force, working with the marshals. Chief Fitzgibbons, he worked with us for a long time over there, and now he's kind of the bigger and better places, I guess. But he's our bagpiper every year. He comes down and does the bagpipes for our memorial services every year. So he's a blessing for us here. And already today he's asked me to not forget about this year's memorial service in May. So I'll make sure that the sheriff-elect is very aware that he needs to make sure that he's in the loop and is at that. But it's an honor to know Pete. It's an honor to work with such a quality guy, respected guy as Pete Elliott. He is just a tremendous human being, and this really means a lot to me, and I deeply appreciate it. And I will live up to that standard from now on for me, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Pete. Next is Lieutenant Brad Bishop. He's the post commander here at the Ashland, Ohio Highway Patrol.
Wow, what an outpouring of support, Sheriff. I think this speaks volumes about the impact that you've had on everybody here in this room and throughout our community. It's an honor to be up here to ask to speak even, and for 24 years we've had the benefit of having you as our sheriff. And early on, I remember being a young trooper, and I mentioned something about the sheriff's department. He's like, no, it's the sheriff's office. And I kind of think that speaks to what kind of a man he is. He wants to be available to people and listen to their problems. He is respected in his leadership, puts people first, not only his deputies and staff, but the citizens of this county. His continued dedication and appreciation to our veterans will be one of his legacies. I've never seen an individual do so much for our veterans, and that's appreciated for sure. He's always embraced interagency cooperation and teamwork. We'll not find another county in Ohio with better teamwork among area law enforcement officers and agencies, bar none. And a lot of that is due to his leadership. And I'll give you an example. Whenever something happens, usually everyone's involved. And the sheriff always says, whatever you need. And that's a line that he gives me often. And it's reciprocated, obviously, but it means a lot coming from him. He understands better than anyone. When we work together, we work better. And more on a personal note, I want to thank him publicly. I probably have not had a bigger supporter in my law enforcement career than this man. And I don't know what I did to deserve it, but he's taken a liking to me, and I can't say enough about him. And probably more impressively, he's won over the admiration of my wife and family, which sometimes I still struggle to do. But he has the magic touch. I can't believe how many times I get told, "Hey, I saw Sheriff today," so I appreciate that. Being involved in my family means a lot to me. When I was promoted to sergeant in 2010, I had a gathering, and he promoted me gave me an accommodation, and that's still on my wall today. When I got back here to Ashland in my own office, I put that on the wall, and I look at it every day, and I think of you and what you meant. I know he sent letters down to the colonel's office for me as an advocate, and all I can say, Sheriff, you can look back on this career with pride, knowing that you've done a job well done. So from myself and all of us at Post 3, congratulations, sir. He says, "Tell your wife I said hi."
Yeah. Usually see them at Bueller's or someplace like that, it's a stomping ground. The Highway Patrol is a great organization. The Ohio State Highway Patrol is probably the premier patrol organization in this country, by far, bar none. And I think it's recognized that. And it's because of guys like this right here. When I became sheriff, there was a very good relationship with our post out here in Post 3. And that was kind of from Sheriff Etzweiler, Sheriff Overholt, and it just kind of built on after I came on board. And through the years, we worked very close, and we've achieved a lot together in the community, public safety-wise. But every time I've talked to one of the patrol colonels or superintendents, every one of them shakes my hand and says, "We really appreciate Ashland County, the relationship that we have with it, because it's not like that everywhere." And we take a great deal of pride in being able to work with a professional group like that and have the mutual respect to work together and accomplish great things in our community. We're not racing against each other to get ahead of anything. We just want to meet in the middle and do the best for what's for our community and the public safety in our community. So I think Brad just left. He's a busy guy. He's probably running an errand for his wife someplace right now. So Dave. Sergeant Hamilton and her DARE staff. Sergeant Angie Hamilton, she manages our SROs and the DARE officers.
Deputy Martin is part of our DARE SRO team at Hillsdale. It's his day off today. So I appreciate him being here. The rest of our guys are on calls. So, I'll try to get this done. Been around Sheriff Risner, oh my goodness, for many years now. And as part of the DARE SRO team, we want to thank Sheriff for his support. He allowed me to go to a state level in DARE. He helped me fight at a state level for funds to continue the DARE program. I want to thank him for his expansion of our DARE team up to 5 officers, and the newest one is the Sheriff's Office First Therapy Canine. Under Sheriff Risner, and my daughter helped me with this math problem earlier, over 53,000 students have been through the DARE program in Ashland County alone. And many more have been helped throughout the schools and in community events. So I'm going to cut it because I got through it. Thank you.
Well, what do you say when you have people like that on your staff? Angie, she's done a tremendous job here. And to have a county this size, to have 6 DARE officers, DARE SRO officers in all those schools, that's very important for the public safety in our schools, but it's also very important for the educational aspect of what they preach on there, you know, the drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. You know, when we went through the COVID program, we shut that down for a while, and there was a couple of years that we didn't have DARE, and you know, it's very noticeable that we lost a couple of years there with a bunch of kids that weren't able to go through that program and to get the education and the skills, you know, to say no, to not do drugs, to get educated on the harms of that stuff that they may not get at home. But that 2 years we lost, it was noticeable with some of the kids in the schools, believe it or not. So I really appreciate Angie and all the DARE and SRO guys from our agency. She's done this. This is her passion, and she's first class with it. She's on board with every superintendent in the county, every principal in the county, and probably knows all the teachers in the county. So she's out there all the time, does a tremendous job, and has been really a positive impact on a lot of young people in Ashland County. Thank you, Angie, and your crew.
Okay, that was the last of the speakers that I wrote down. Is there anybody in the room that would like to come forth and say a few words?
I will.
Sheriff?
Yeah.
Medina County Sheriff.
It would be disingenuous if I stood up here and told you that I know the sheriff as well as all of you. I've only been the sheriff for 4 years. Sheriff's been here for 24 years. And when I became a new sheriff, as all the other sheriffs, they embrace you. They answer your questions. They're a good friend and mentor. And that's exactly what Sheriff Risner has been to me. And thank you sometimes doesn't feel like enough, right, when we have those interactions. And our agency had an interaction back in July that some of you are aware of. This man, as soon as he heard what had happened, he himself called our dispatch center to offer Ashland County to come up and cover Medina County. That's the quality of an individual that he is. And you can hear that in everyone's voice. And when I took office, I stood up there and said, titles are temporary, but relationships can last a lifetime. And this individual epitomizes that. You can take the title away from him, and this room's still going to be full of all the same people saying the exact same things, because that's the type of individual that he is. So again, I can't sit here and tell you I have hundreds and hundreds of stories, but for the 4 years that I've had the honor of knowing him, he's been nothing but humble, helpful, and just a true leader. So I appreciate him, and I appreciate everything he's done. As the Marshal Elliott said, he's done something only 12 times. I didn't have something formal, so I'm going to give him the keys to my county car, and you can have that.
Thank you, Sheriff. Is it full of gas?
Well, it was when I left Medina.
Yeah, well, he's been a sheriff for 4 years up in Medina, and you see the quality the guy that he is right there. He does a tremendous job, and in the meetings at the association, he always has some input that he puts in, and he's part of the conversation as a newer sheriff. But I can assure you, he's going to go far down the road. You're going to hear the same as you go down the road. He's a tremendous guy, and again, going forward, we're always here if you need assistance from us. If you need something, we're here for you.
Thanks.
So thank you.
Anybody else like to come forward? Sheriff Shelton? Richland County Sheriff.
Well, living next door to a great man is not always an easy thing to do, because everybody loves him, everybody hates me. But that's okay. He's always unopposed. I'm never unopposed. But anyways, Sheriff Risner and I think the Sheriff of Medina County used the word. Everybody has a word for him, and the biggest word I can use for him is mentor. I've been the sheriff for 5 terms, getting ready to do my 6th term, and right from day one, he has helped me. Ashland County, Richland County were very, very, very close. I'm always over here, or he's over there, or his people. They have helped us out so much. It's unbelievable. We even do corrections academies. We do the one in May, they do the one in October. And we send our people, they send their people. Anytime we've ever needed help, he's always there. I mean, he is always there. Anytime I need advice, he's always there. I don't know how many times my Chief Deputy Joe Massey and Dave and Wayne have had lunch together, and it seems like I'm always asking for advice, and he's always very, very good to give advice, and he gives great advice. So I'm really, as your next door neighbor, I'm going to miss you very, very much. So.
Captain Kiley of the Ashland Police Department. Captain.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Chief Lay, who's been sick the entire week, I would like to say in his presence, and on behalf of the department, congratulations to Sheriff Risner. I met Sheriff Risner the first time in 2001, and what caught me is kind of strange at first, is it seemed like he knew everybody. I'd see him shake all these hands, and then I started hearing, hey buddy, hey buddy, hey buddy. Okay, so that's how he knows everybody. Makes sense, I'll start borrowing that. Some of the best names as well. But the biggest thing I want to say for Sheriff Risner is service to his community, service to his country. And he always did it, even if we didn't agree. What happened once. Even if we didn't agree, he always was respectful. He always carried himself with respect and appreciation. So much so, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I'm walking down the street and I hear, hey buddy. Right away I knew who it was. He backs up and offers to give me a ride. That's just the kind of person he is. So on behalf of Ashland Police Department, Chief Lay, I'd like to congratulate you and tell you 25 on Claremont, 30, 35, you're okay. And other than that, you're good to go, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I did stop and ask him if he wanted a ride because it wasn't really warm out and stuff like that, but he said no. I wonder what that was all about. I don't know why he didn't want to ride with me. So I think he was getting his exercise, is what he's doing.
Anybody else like to make a few comments? Sheriff, you're up next.
Wow, what a crowd. My staff put this together and I was just kind of wandering through the building a little bit. I didn't really know what all they had planned here today, and this is amazing. And I'm just blown away by the number of people who've come in here, and that deeply is a blessing for me. I tell you, it's unbelievable. I had a few comments I wanted to make. First off, I've been doing this for a long time now. And, Sheriff Overholt was here a little bit ago. He may have left, but I'd like to acknowledge one Sheriff Edsweiler. And coming up on my retirement, I've thought back several times about it would be great if Sheriff Edsweiler and Sheriff Overholt could be here today for this. Both of those guys were mentors for me. They both gave me an opportunity to be a part of this organization, a part of this agency. And they gave me the opportunities as a fairly younger employed guy here to be a part of something bigger for us moving forward, and that was our enhanced 911 system that we worked on with a lot of people with Emergitech, and I think I saw Al Basu here, and I appreciate him and the help that he gave us early on in that, and all the other county agencies that had to be a part of putting that whole program together for our county, but it has worked almost flawlessly over the years. It's been very good. And down the road, there's going to be some other changes coming up, as technology changes and the way calls are handled, transferred, and moved around, it's getting more technical, and so you're going to see changes coming in the next few years. But Sheriff Etzweiler, Sheriff Overholt, they gave me opportunities to be involved in stuff. Being the project coordinator guy for the sheriff was a great thing for me. I was down here every day that they built the walls, the blocks. In addition to my 911 thing and working the road, I still came down here every day and kept up with what was going on. In a building this size, and with all the work, with all the jail issues and stuff that they had to go through to build this, through this whole project, it was a $12.2 million or something like that project. There, in this whole project, there were 6 change orders. So that's pretty amazing to just have 6 change orders, and most of those were minor. The biggest one after it was built was probably the roof. So, but I always want to think about Sheriff Etzweiler, and it was good to see Sheriff Overholt. But there's a couple other folks that I like to give thanks to, and the first is the Lord, because I know He's looked after me over my life, and I've been in some pretty nasty places in my life, and I was with some guys that didn't come back from there, and so I know what it's like to be afraid. I know what it's like to be scared, but I know what it's like to appreciate where I'm at. And Miss Pam, she's the one who caused all this to happen. When I got ready to run for sheriff, we were back and forth, and I thought, well, I don't know if I should do it or not, but she says, you only get one go around in life, and you need to do it. So we did it, and it's been a blessing with all the good of this job, all the positive of this agency, and all the employees, current and past, that we've worked with here. It's been an absolute blessing. I mean, just absolute blessing to be able to say I'm the sheriff of this county. Moving forward, I'm sure that the standards are not going to change with Sheriff-elect Schneider when he takes office at midnight Sunday night. And I told him he still got my phone number, but I don't know if I'll leave the phone on at night though. So. But it will be. Anything that you need or anybody here needs, I'll be there for you. But other people I'd like to thank going through my career. I've had 4 chief deputies as a sheriff here. And my first one was Larry Doon. And every one of these chief deputies that I've had, each had their own skill levels and their own likes and dislikes and how they operated. And I told Dave here a few days ago, if I could have put all 4 of these guys in one cruiser, they could have handled every crime in the country, because they each had their own niche and what they like to do, and Dave was the tenant windshield guy. So, but he was a heck of a patrol officer. He is a heck of a patrol officer. But then I had Roger Martin. He was our detective guy. And Roger, he worked, and all of them had worked with Jim Budzik, my labor attorney, when it comes to contracts and that. But all of them did a great job, aside from Chief Martin and the union attorney. I think they wanted to kill each other a couple of times, but we made it through the negotiations, didn't we, Jim? So, and then Chief Reichert, he brought a whole different zeal to the job as chief deputy. He was the guy that liked to do the enforcement stuff. He was a road guy, but he also did our maintenance program, the vehicles and all that stuff. He's the guy that hauled most of the junk from the state up here for us to paint and make police cars out of. And but we've evolved from that. And then Chief Blake, since he's been here, he was my jail administrator, but we've been able to work with the commissioners, and the commissioners have agreed to buy us 3 new cars a year, and we can buy some for corrections through our corrections money stuff. So our fleet now, we probably have a better fleet of cruisers in this agency than most sheriff's offices in the state of Ohio. I'd like to recognize Sheriff Hutchison. Where are you at? Is he still here?
Travis had to leave.
Did he? But Sheriff Hutchison's here. He's retiring too. He's been a sheriff for 2 terms, but he's over in Wayne County, and he's retiring on Sunday night too. And Medina County, thank you so much. I deeply appreciate you. Sheriff Corbin, he's He's back here, Huron County. We work very closely with Huron County and his staff, certainly with his chief in that. Well, with Huron County, Lorain County, Erie County, and Ashland, we started a new task force about a year and a half ago, and there's a human trafficking task force that we put together that we're working with the organized crime out of Columbus. We work with them, and we've been able to get some grants from them. They've looked at our program, they've approved it, and so we're kind of evolving into something that Sheriff Schneider, Sheriff Corbin, as we move forward to keep building on that. We're in an infancy right now, and there's some things that are going on. But for us in Ashland County, do not think that those issues are not in Ashland County. They are in Ashland County. And we need to have the resources and the ability to investigate and arrest those guys that and gals that are involved in that tragic mess that's going on. And it's a lot of it's based off the internet connections and stuff like that. So we're in the infancy, but being a part of this task force, working with organized crime, it also allows us to bleed over into Cuyahoga County task forces and Toledo task forces. So we have unlimited numbers of people that we could bring in here to help us. We work closely with the Marshal Service, and if we would ask them to be involved in some of that stuff, I know that they would be a part of that, and that they would work with us on it. So we're moving ahead, and we're trying to stay ahead of what we do here. I'm very proud of my agency. There's 4 divisions here. Every one of them functions extremely well. We just had our annual jail inspection from DRC in last month, and we got 100% rating in that. And this is one inspection. Every now and then we'll get gigged on this one thing, but it doesn't affect us getting a 100% or something. But on this last inspection, we got 0 gigs on anything. We passed, and there's probably 150 different things that they look at, and we pass every one of them. So we take a great deal of pride in doing that every year. But it doesn't happen just because it happens. It happens because we have to work at it. It changes back there every day. Something changes back there. DRC puts out new policies and changes. Every year we get new standards and stuff that we have to follow. I see Chris Chanel in the back there, our county prosecutor. I deeply appreciate him and his staff. They give good opinions to us. They give good counsel to us. They work with us closely on the cases that we work on. He's deeply involved with our drug task force here in the county as part of Metridge. We meet quarterly, and we do good things with that. Our guys are working with the city PD, and we've got 2 guys, and they've got 2 guys. That's all they do is focus on drugs, and they're very successful in what they do. But I've been very blessed. Bob DeSanto, is he still here? There he is. Well, Bob DeSanto was a prosecutor when I became sheriff. He taught me a lot. I learned a lot from him. Over the years, we developed a very good friendship and relationship. And one thing we have in common, we're both Vietnam brothers. He was in Vietnam too. So, we have that little bit of thing going with each other. But Ramona Rogers, when she was a prosecutor, same way. We worked very well with her. She gave good advice, good opinions, and you didn't want to make her mad at you either. She had a little more of an attitude there. And of course, Chris, I think he gets a little off of her sometimes. He gets wound up every now and then, but that's the way we work. Our judges are great in this county. The relationship between county and the city is great. I mean, we work very well. And that's with the villages. We get along with everybody. And that's always kind of been my standard. My staff works very well, and the chief, when he said, I don't micromanage anybody. That's not my style, but I do. But I tell those guys that I put in place to do what they do in these divisions, and that if I have to do your job, I don't need you. Okay, and that's kind of what my attitude is on it, and they know that. But they do a good job, and actually they overachieve a little bit, I think. Our jail division in the back, Judge Good's not here right now, but I think that he would agree the way we operate in the back. In the jail, we have high standards. We follow the rules. We treat people like human beings when they come into this jail. You know, if it goes south, we'll go south with it. You know, we can do that too. But we work with Appleseed, we work with Acada. We probably have one of the best treatment centers for drugs and alcohol anywhere in Northern Ohio on how we operate in this jail. And I was talking to Jerry back here. There's some successes that we've had with more than a few inmates that have left this jail on the way to healing from drugs and alcohol because they've been here. This was the place that fixed them. Doesn't happen with all of them, but it's happened with some of them. So we've had a lot going on. I have a lot to be proud of. And I guess the most pride that I have is that I've surrounded myself with really good people, good dedicated staff who come to work every day to do the best job that they can, serving the folks in this community. I appreciate everybody here today. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me that you're here. My staff, Miss Ellen, and the rest of my staff, Dave, the chief, Bill Bragg, everybody has been involved in putting this together. My wife, thank you for everything that you've done here today. I really appreciate it. And I'll probably be a Klingon for a while. You know, I'll come hang around a little bit every now and then. So, but I deeply appreciate everybody being here. I love all of you. Thank you.
Well, thank you again for everybody that is present here. The people that have been here and gone. I really appreciate this turnout. It's really, I know it means a lot to you, it means a lot to this community and what goes on here. And then you've been the leader at the helm here for 24 years, so you'll be missed. But the door is always open for you. So thank you. Feel free to mingle around. We got 120 cupcakes that need to be eaten. There's still soup. There's pulled pork. Enjoy yourself and feel free to mingle around and talk and say hi. Have a good day. Thanks.